Good evening. Oops, bounce you. Okay, we are up and running. Good evening. I'm coming to you with a late night live today because today has been a little bit chaotic. A little bit chaotic. I got back from a very late lunch with my girlfriends and have been scrambling with my siblings to clean the house because our parents are coming back from holiday tonight. And you got to do some last minute cleaning to make sure that the house like spick and span before they get back. And we were doing that. And I was like, okay, got to eat something, scoff down some like chicken drumstick from last night with some Lebanese bread and some barbecue sauce. Cleaned up the kitchen, came up, and I'm like, I need to chat with you guys. Right? I need to chat with you guys because after this, I need to go pick my parents up from the airport. So it's a bit of a chaotic day, but we're rolling with it. And I was like, thank freaking goodness that they're coming back tonight because that means I no longer have to cook. Like me and the kitchen, I'm telling you, me and the kitchen, we don't vibe. We don't vibe. Whatever the opposite of flow state is, that is me in the kitchen. Whenever I try to cook something, something goes wrong. I've burned every spatula in the house. I've broken a bunch of bowls. Literally last week when I was trying to cook, because my parents went home, I broke this like huge glass of cooking wine, and the cooking wine went all over the floor, and I had to freaking mop the floor and clean the glass. And I was trying to cook cabbage while I was doing that, and I didn't know that I had to like blanch it before I stir fried it. And I was trying to cook it, but it was just rock hard and just not working. And I had to throw all of that out, and it was just not a good time. And we ended up just eating the chicken that I air fried that my mum had pre-marinated and frozen. Because she knew this was going to happen, and she knew that I got to prep some stuff for them because Melanie is not good in the kitchen. Hey Shruti, how are you? I am fantastic, thank you. I am literally coming alive today because for the past week and a bit, I have been deathly sick, and I was like, I'm feeling better today. I'm on the mend. So we're going to do this freaking live. We're going to do this live because I want to chat with you about the secret sauce. The secret sauce to walking through life with this essence of personal power. And it's something that you can possess. It's not related to your age, where you are in life, what you have in life, what you do. It's not related to any of that. Because you can have all of the external things and still not have this essence of personal power. So what gives you that essence of personal power? I'm going to tell you right now, but you're going to have to listen. You're going to have to listen and stay for the live in order to get the real juice and the real goods, okay? Are you ready? Hi, everyone. Hi, Monica. Hi, Man. Hi, Shruti, Claudia, Pippa. Okay. What is it that people who have this essence of personal power, what is it that they have that differentiates them from people who maybe have all of the things externally but don't necessarily have this essence? And it's something that has been hitting me in the face for the last few months and is something that I have been integrating within my body. Not just a logical, conscious understanding, but something that is genuinely hitting. You know, when something hits you body-wise and you like it just lands inside of you and your soul, it is different to when it just lands logically. And the difference that I've realized is that the people who have the secret sauce are the ones who have radically accepted who they are and where they are, their flaws, their strengths, their shadows, right? They accept all of that about themselves. And they are not trying to get somewhere in life that they're aiming for, right? Doesn't mean that they don't have goals. They have goals and they see the vision and they see where they want to be, but they're not trying to get over there now, get over there now. And they're trying to expedite the process between here and here. They're like, you know what? Where I am right now is just fine. And I know where I want to go. But where I am right now, I'm going to savor it and I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm going to let myself be where I am, and I'm going to let myself go on the journey that I need to go on to figure out the things that I haven't yet figured out. But I don't need to rush that process of figuring the things out. I'm going to figure it out because I have the intention of where I want to go. But where I am now is enough for now. Who I am now is enough for now. It's okay for me to be me. And for such a long time, I was thrashed around unconsciously. Like, I didn't actually know that this is what was going on inside of my head, but I was thrashed around on social media. And it was just this feeling of not feeling like I had to adjust myself to other people's expectations in order to be a good person. I didn't know I was doing this, right? I thought that I was, yeah, boundaries, standing up for what I believe in, and I didn't even realize how much I was being thrashed around. And this is the way that it showed up. When people would say things like, oh, maybe you share something in a reel, and they're like, oh, that's such a privileged take. Or, you didn't consider, like, that doesn't apply to this person, or that doesn't apply to this situation. And then you see those comments, and then I would think, you know what? Actually, that's true. I am saying this because I have certain privilege in certain areas. I am saying this because it's my experience, and that doesn't apply to all people, and I haven't considered that. And I felt like I had to shift and change my stance to be considerate of everyone. But sometimes standing in your personal power means this is my perspective. This is my lived experience. And it's not going to apply to everyone. And I'm not trying to make it apply to everyone. But I'm going to stand for what I believe in based on my experience. And that is enough. I don't need for it to include everybody in order to be a good person. I don't need to speak on these topics that you want me to speak on because you feel like I have to speak on them in order to be a good person. You know how much I got thrashed around by that? The whole, you have to speak on these topics because this is what is happening in the world. And it is your responsibility as someone with a platform to speak on these topics. The kind of people who say those sorts of things, and it's taken me so long to realize, are the kind of people who honestly have dehumanized you because they see you as their mouthpiece, as the sounding board that has to reflect to them what they want to hear. Otherwise, they're going to discard you and go find someone else who's going to do that. And do you do that to people in real life that you know? I sure hope not. because that's not normal. Do you go around expecting people to say exactly what you want them to say and point fingers and be like, you need to talk about this? Otherwise, if you don't, that means you don't care. That means you're a horrible person. No. And I'm really interested to see what studies on social media and the effects on our brain, like we're going to see in a few decades, right? The effect that it's had on us. Because it's mad. It's mad. But standing in your personal power means recognizing that you do not need to give the best of you and your heart and your soul to everyone. Some people are going to look at you and they're not actually going to see you as a person. Why would you give your best to those people? Why would you feel the need to shift and contort yourself to try and have them understand you when they're not interested in that? They just want you to say what they want to say. So what do I think now? Well, you know what? That's fine and dandy that you want to chat about that you want to have like people to speak about that topic. That's great. Go create your platform. This is where I'm going to speak about the things that I feel called to speak on. And if that doesn't suit your agenda, that doesn't make me a bad person. Maybe it does by your standards. But I'm going to stand firmly in what I feel called to do, right? It took me a freaking long time to get here. That's part of what it means to accept yourself and who you are and what you're interested in and what you feel called to speak on. That is valid and that is important too. Instead of getting thrashed around and constantly molding and contorting yourself to what other people think you should be. Radical self-acceptance. This is who I am. This is what I'm about. And at any point in time, it can change, but I'm going to accept who I am and where I am right now. That is enough. That's a skill. That's a skill that needs to be built, and it's not easy. Because naturally, as humans, we want approval. We want people to think that we are good people, and we don't want them to misunderstand. But what do you think about you? In the process of pleasing people who actually, secret, don't care about you. What does that say about your character? Good question. What does that say? Radical self-acceptance. It sounds easy, but it's not. Can you stand firmly in what you believe in, even when other people have decided that it's not worth standing for, that they think you should be speaking about something else? And if you're not keenly aware of this, you're going to start shifting and molding to what they want. Which is why it's so important in this process to have the awareness of who around you brings out the best version of you. Who around you is bringing out the most empowered version of you. And to surround yourself with those people. I used to have so much judgment and shame within myself for certain traits that I had, right? Oh my gosh, I'm so judgmental, right? I need to tone that down and I need to give people the benefit of the doubt, even if my gut is saying so and so. Because something that I've always had is sharp discernment I have a quick read on people, I'll say that. And within a few interactions, I know quickly if I like somebody, if I like their character, if I feel like they'll be aligned, and also if I feel like they won't be. But oftentimes, this has been deemed as too harsh by certain people. And so I felt like, okay, well, maybe I need to tone that down and maybe I need to like not say what I actually think and just be like, oh, you know what, even though this is what the spidey senses are saying, I doubted that. I had just shame for those parts of myself and I had judged myself for these traits. And then I met people who actually really loved and really valued those qualities within me. And they saw that sharp discernment as a fantastic protective mechanism and something that was very good at keeping out misaligned people in my life, right? It's not necessarily a judgment of whether someone is good or bad. It's just a judgment of, oh, I can feel that this person's going to be aligned. I can feel that this person isn't going to be aligned. It's just part of who I am and it's part of my makeup, right? There are many things that I'm terrible at. Don't ask me for directions. Don't ask me to cook. Okay. But that is a trait that I've had. I can also be really direct and straightforward. And the people who are not aligned for me will say, you're too blunt, you're too harsh. And for the longest time, I felt like I had to shift and change because people said that. And then as I grew and matured, I realized, hold up, there are people in my life who love that directness and love that straightforwardness. They see it as valuable. And those always turn out to be the most aligned people in my life. Hold up, I need to blow my nose. Oh my gosh. This is a chaotic life. Hi, Demira. Hi, Palminda. Arin. Nancy Snail. Lawrence, Sophie. Hi, everyone. Thanks for chilling with me. But I used to feel like, okay, I need to tone down the sassiness. I need to not make certain kinds of jokes so that people don't misunderstand me and they're not like, oh my gosh, who does this girl think she is, right? So full of herself. When in fact, it's just my sense of humor, if you know me, right? And I realized the less I tone that down, the more the right people and the aligned people can find me because they actually really love those parts of me. And the people who kind of go, oh, gosh, they're just not aligned. That's fine. But when you step into who you are, you allow the right people to find you. And when you don't, doing yourself a disservice. You have this mask. How are your people supposed to find you when you've got this mask on the whole time? That's my Duolingo telling me that I haven't practiced Chinese for today. But I have more important things that I'm doing right now. Okay, Duo? You've got to wait. You've got to be patient. I'm talking to my people right now. So that's a huge part of that essence of personal power? How much can you own who you are? How much can you own the parts of yourself that can make people uncomfortable? A lot of the time, a common theme throughout my life that I've heard is, "Oh, you look you're intimidating," or "You come across as cold," or "You come across as, like, very prim and proper," and then but the people who actually can see through that and can see that that is not the whole of me, the sentiment that always comes out is, "Oh, yeah, I thought you were intimidating at first, but you're actually really goofy and weird. But you're actually really funny. But you're actually really sweet." And for a long time, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I know that I have resting bitch face and that I look scary and that what is it that I need to do to stop coming across so intimidating? What is it that I need to do to stop coming across cold? What is it that I need to do to stop?" And it was just all like, how do I shift myself so that people can feel more comfortable? And what I've come to learn is that the right people don't need you to do that because they can already sense your essence. You don't have to shift who you are. They can see, and they're willing to experience who you are beyond that initial facade. They know that something more is there. Those people who are willing to do that are the ones who are much more likely to be aligned with you in your life. So you don't have to worry about shifting and contorting and changing yourself to be palatable for everyone. You don't have to do that. Because when you do that, you become leaky in your energy. That is when you lose your personal power. Just like if you are constantly looking at where you want to be and you're like, I want to be there now, I want to be there now, and I just hate where I am right now, and I don't like this, and I wish I wasn't here, and I wish I could just get over there now, then you're leaking your energy too, and you lose your essence of personal power. When you can stand on your 2 feet and say, that's where I want to go, that's where I am going, and I'm going to savor where I am right now, because where I am right now is okay and is so good. And I'm already making my way over there. And I'm figuring out the things I need to figure out to get over there. And I can do it at the pace that I'm doing it. And just because someone else says that there's a more efficient way, or that there's a better way, or that I should be doing it this way, or this way, or this way, I don't have to if I don't want to. I can figure it out my own way. If someone's like, oh my gosh, you have to apply this system, or you have to have these habits, or you have to do that, that's amazing and that's cool and good for them. And thank you for sharing what's worked for you. But I'm allowed to figure out what works for me. I don't have to do it the way that you said. I can do it the way that I want. If I want to crawl from A to B, I can crawl. If I want to walk, I can walk. If I want to run, I can run. If I want to skip and do somersaults and cartwheels, and I can do it that way. I don't have to do it the most efficient way. I don't have to do it your way. I don't have to do it the better way. I can take a leisurely stroll on the scenic route and do it with ease if that's what I want. And I'm going to own that. I'm willing for it to take a little bit longer if that's what I want. And if you want to run, go run and own that. And if you want to tumble and skip, own that and go do that. But I am going to do it the way that I want. Own it. Own yourself. Own the way that you do things and who you are and how you walk through this life. And know that you are always going to continue growing and evolving and changing. And just let that happen organically. One of the biggest, most annoying things I found previously with being on social media was that I was like, oh my gosh, it's just, I cannot bear the fact that people are witnessing the evolution of me and they can go back in my past content and see how I used to think. And I'm like, oh, that's so cringe. Why did I say that? Why did I do that? I can't believe that I used to think like that. People are going to come to my page and they're going to see that and they're going to make a snap judgment about who I am now when I'm a completely different person, right? But you know what? I've reached a point now where I'm like, I'm going to own that. I'm going to own every iteration of me. The versions of me back then, who I'm like, girl, I don't know what I was on and I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm going to own that that was me at one point in time. You can't shame me for it. So I've grown and evolved, yes, but I'm also going to own who I was back then. Because if I continue to walk through life with that shame of that past version of me, it's only going to continue. When I grow and evolve from who I am now, I'm going to look back on me now and feel that same shame and embarrassment. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to own who I am in each and every moment and know that that's going to continue to change. When you can say that, that's when you walk through life with a different level of personal power that is not determined by the physical things that you have, by your accomplishments, by the things that you've done. It's completely unrelated to that. You can have all of those things and amazing, right? I think there's nothing wrong with that, with creating abundance in the physical and material world as well. But know that the external, physical, material things, they are never going to be the foundation of your personal power. That is always going to come from within, always. And it starts with owning who you are and where you're at. Stop trying to be somewhere else. Stop trying to be someone else. Embrace the fact that, yeah, you have flaws. Yeah, I can be mean sometimes. I have the capacity to be mean. I don't want to be there all the time, and I do my best to be there as little as possible. But that is part of me too, and I'm going to own that. How fun is it going to be to look back and be like, oh my gosh, remember when I was creating and lives from my childhood bedroom, which I'm in right now, right? Instead of feeling ashamed and being like, oh my gosh, I wish I was somewhere else. I wish I was in a different place. Let me own this. Let me own where I am right now. I'm in no rush to get anywhere fast. I'm going to savor this moment, and I'm going to savor who I am right now. And I'm going to savor where I am right now. Because I'm never going to have this time back. Your personal power comes from when you can fully own who you are and where you are right here, right now. All of the messy edges, all of the parts of yourself, the parts of your journey that you don't want people to know about. Own it. And watch how your energy starts to shift. There's something so potent about it when someone can just fully own who they are and where they are right now. That's why vulnerability and people being honest, right, about maybe something that they're going through resonates so deeply and is so powerful. Instead of them hiding it away and being like, you know what, I'm actually going through something right now. I'm actually going through the ringer and I feel like shit. And I'm just going to own that. This is what I'm going through. That has a different level of power compared to, oh, hi, how are you? Oh, yeah, no, I'm doing fantastic. People can feel the incongruence. That is leaky energy. Let me see if there's anything else I want to share with you. Loving yourself and your journey is the key. And it's the key that gives you the power to say, I don't care who you are, what you've done, or what you have. You cannot tell me who I am. Because I know who I am. And I like who I am. And that is the greatest asset that you will ever have in this lifetime. Hi, everyone. Just looking at who has joined. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I have a question here. Hey, I have a question. When you try to be yourself, sometimes you get separated from many of the people and you're not able to build with them. You feel very alone, and that's where I think I am right now. So how can I change this? I've tried being myself. Okay. So the gist of the question is that when you are stepping into yourself and into your power, sometimes people fall off in your life because they're no longer in alignment and there is loneliness. And I just want to acknowledge that that is a part of the journey. And part of owning yourself and where you are is being able to say, you know what? I recognize that as I grow and evolve, not everybody is going to be able to come with me. And I'm grateful for the phase in my life in which we were connected. And if they're no longer going to be in my life, that's okay too. And if I'm entering a phase in my life now where I'm going to be on my own for a little bit, that's going to suck. It's going to suck. You're allowed to own that. Because it is a necessary part of the experience. Every single time you elevate your vibrational frequency, it's most likely going to happen that there are certain people in your life that maybe you're going to fall off, or maybe you're going to become more distant with. And it's okay. It's okay to have fair weather friends. Not everybody is going to be in your inner circle. And sometimes when you feel like you're the only person in your inner circle, that's okay too. And it's okay to acknowledge that it sucks. But know that every single time you elevate, it's making space for people who are aligned with you and where you're going. The loneliness is space. Space for more aligned people to come in. And trust in that. And have gratitude for everyone who was in your life in every previous stage. And just own the fact that you're in a stage where, you know what, you haven't really found your people yet. And I know it's tough. But it's necessary to get to where you want to go, which is more aligned people in your life. Sometimes you have to advocate for yourself first before the people who see your light are able to see it and enter your life. But it'll happen. It'll happen. You don't need to put a timeline on it. Right? I know we want it to happen tomorrow, but enjoy this time of getting to know yourself deeply. And the result of that work, the result of you committing to the inner work, is going to reflect in the people around you. It took me years for that to happen. And my inner circle is still extremely small. Extremely small. So it might take you some time, but that's okay. You're going to get there. Just savor and own where you are right now. You've already progressed from where you were before. This is progress. And be grateful for that progress. And know that even more progress is on its way. That you can go about it with some ease. You don't have to force it. You don't have to expedite the process. You can't anyway. Okay? You're so welcome. Thank you for asking the question. Alrighty, I need to go get ready to pick up my parents. Hallelujah. I don't need to cook anymore. I had so much fun chatting with you. My voice is going a little bit as well. And maybe I should do more questions in the next live. What do you guys think? That'd be fun. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Thank you so much for chatting with me and for sharing your time with me. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to catch you in the next live. Mwah.